We are live. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm black and black and I'm black, y'all. What's
Right.
going on, everybody? Today is the third episode of Diversified Discussions. And today, what we're going to be talking about is a few things, as you can see in the description. We're going to cover the whole Floyd Mayweather situation. We're going to cover Dr. Johnson, Black empowerment in general, the role of the church in the Black community. We're going to cover a lot. So things may end up getting, a little heated. All I ask is that we maintain our aura of respect, not cut anybody off, and let everybody finish, let everyone express their point of view. So with that said, let's go ahead and get these introductions. Ms. Greer.
Hey, Miss Greer, the oldest one of the oldest one of the squad. Just here to learn, enlighten, spread a few jokes, a little love, opinions, some facts if I can find it.
All right.
From Michigan.
Next up, Miss Nikki.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I'm back again, and I am just excited for this week's discussion.
Cool. And y'all know me. I am the host, Gideon. This week, William Esquire may not be able to make it. He's having a little trouble getting in. If he's not able to make it, he'll just catch us next week. And I have a couple of special guests I'm trying to bring in. Hopefully they can find their way in and we can get this discussion rolling. So, since our guests aren't here just yet, let's go ahead on with the first topic. The first segment is the word of the week. This one is going to apply to today's show. Proselytize. Proselytize means to convert or attempt to convert from one religion, belief, or opinion to another. So you're probably gonna hear someone attempting to proselytize others on this show. So it's a part of life. Any questions about the word?
Nothing like proselytize.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Proselytize, Proselytize.
I had to spell it phonetically so that I could know how to say it later.
Yeah, proselytize.
Okay. Cool.
All right, so I was gonna do this topic later, but since our guests aren't here yet, let's just go ahead and skip over to the celebrity news.
Okay.
So, Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, they're getting ready to go to blows. What do y'all think about that?
I'm honestly super indifferent because I don't keep up with that sport. But I have been looking at the different issues other people had with what was being said, mainly by Connor, what's his name? About him calling whatever movie, the movie about with the dancing monkeys, talking about Muhammad Ali. What movie was it? Where he said that?
I don't remember.
He talked so much shit. It was unbelievable. I'm like, oh my God.
What?
He gonna get whooped.
What is the movie about Muhammad Ali called?
Ali?
Another one.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, dang it. I thought someone knew. Dang. But no, basically it was a movie about
The Greatest?
What is it?
The Greatest from 1977.
Oh, let's see.
There's Freedom Road, I Am Ali from 2014, The Super Fight.
She did this before, but I thought someone would know what I was talking about. Let me see. Oh, Rocky 3.
Is which one?
Rocky 3.
3. Oh, okay.
Rocky.
Yeah.
Rocky.
Oh, you talking about Muhammad Ali? I'm
I
like,
didn't know. I'm sorry, but yeah, no. They were talking about Rocky 3, and he was like, "Oh, like, is that the one with the dancing monkeys?"
That's what he said. I didn't hear him say that.
Yeah, he
oh,
did.
he said a lot of stuff. I haven't paid attention to everything.
Yeah,
The
and
last-
then after he said that, he said something to Mayweather, like something along the lines of like dance for me, monkey, or something like that. He said.
I know he
And
called him
then,
a boy.
yeah. So then the second issue was like he said something about how like people were saying that he was racist because of his previous comments. And he was like, "Don't y'all know I'm half black? Yeah, I'm black from the waist down." And then he was like, "Oh, and for all my like, black women fans," he started like humping like something. Yeah. So that was just that crossed the line a little bit.
Yeah, and then it's like he made the same joke, but he's acting all obnoxious and arrogant. And Floyd made a point. I'm not a fan of him as a person. Let's get this clear. I can't respect a woman beater, but he did make a valid point. His point was when he does it, he's obnoxious. He needs to handle himself, and they talk about that. But when the white guy does it, oh, he's just boys being boys. They just write it off. It's like it's just friendly competition.
Oh yeah, no, like they did the same thing to Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like they honestly like blamed him for like losing the Super Bowl. It was like, oh yeah, well if Cam Newton wasn't so full of himself, yada yada yada. Like, not that serious.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very double standard to the point where like black athletes almost have to like be like extra like not extra careful, but like compared to their like white counterparts, it's like certain things are like automatically seen as like like bad sportsmanship, obnoxious, all this other stuff. Whereas like with their white counterparts, it's just regular sportsmanship. It's not looked at the same way. But yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not a fan of the guy, but I can't even say he didn't have a point.
Yeah.
I mean, he did make fun of him not being able to read as well, but everybody's already made fun of him not being able to read, including myself.
He talks so much shit. I just said, I just can't wait. Wait till he beat McGregor like the dog he is.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna beat him badly.
Beat him down to his knees until he naked and bleed in the ring, just begging for mercy. Please, Bo.
He's gonna beat him by points. He's gonna beat him by points. I'm telling you.
You really?
Mayweather has not had knockout power in a while now. Like, when was the last time Mayweather knocked someone out?
When you come across a scrub like Connor, he give you new energy. Like, boy, I am gonna whoop your ass good. Believe
it's
that.
all the show anyway. It's all the show anyway for the simple fact that they're both getting off the same private plane.
Wow.
So if they really have all of this frustration and anger,
they just need the ratings.
That's what it is.
They just need.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, I looked at this. Floyd Mayweather's net worth is listed as $400 million, but he made $300 million in the last fight, and he's made about almost $1 billion his career, but he only has 400 million, and 350 was from the last fight. Like, dude, you need to learn how to read.
Yeah, because I'm thinking somebody's stealing their ass off.
Because some people say, well, he need to know how to read for he got money. The real Rick Ross, not that rapper, but the real Rick Ross was illiterate. He felt like he didn't need to know how to read until he got to prison. When he got to prison, and he just said, you know what, let me just go ahead and learn how to read.
Exactly.
He started reading the prison, the law books, and he ended up getting himself off and out of prison. He was sentenced to life. He ended up getting himself out of prison because he learned how to read and read those law books. He found things his attorney missed, and his attorney had been to school for this stuff.
But he knew that sucker couldn't read. That's why he did that mess. And the same thing with what's his name, Mayweather. He need to get his act together, because that don't make no sense to sit up there and think it's cool to be illiterate. You need to at the very minimum read. read and comprehend your contracts and who you dealing with too. You know what I'm saying? And they probably sitting up there stealing him blind.
I mean, if you can't read, you know, if he can't read, then like you know he can't do math.
Oh, none of that.
No, no, not necessarily, because most people that are really good at math it's usually one or the other. Some people excel and they're like an idiot savant at one thing, but I wouldn't doubt that he couldn't because.
But I mean, like, okay, even if you do know basic math, like, you can't read a contract. You can't read your contract.
Oh no, definitely.
I mean, even if you just like highlighted like all the numbers in the contract. I mean, like, if you can't read like basic language, you're not going to be able to read most contracts.
Right.
Because there's bigger words in there. And I mean, if you can't read like something that's on like a 3rd grade reading level, then no.
Yeah. You remember when 50 Cent said, I tell you what, Floyd, you know what I'm saying? I need $500,000 to share in your tray, and you can read a page out of Cat in the Hat, nigga. Who's gonna say Harry Potter with some of the words of law, nigga? You can't read that.
Oh my gosh. Some girl on Twitter like got into it with Floyd Mayweather. Got into it with Mayweather. I don't even know what her name was, but like she was like, okay, first of all, Floyd Mayweather or whoever is reading this to him, let him know that I said da 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 da. And it's sad. I mean, like, you know, you have enough money to be able to hire a tutor. At this point, like, it's no real excuse
at all.
He probably wait till they just rob him blind. People got to be on their last leg. You know what I'm saying? Like Rick Ross had to actually go to the penitentiary for him to see, you know, that he should do something to better his situation. So he'll probably wake up in the alley somewhere, laying on the ground, trying to figure out how I ended up just laying in the alley, just laying there, money gone. Oh, maybe I should learn how to read. You know, find out all these people that robbed him blind. Oh Lord, it's disgusting.
Yep.
Honestly.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Are you gonna watch the fight? Are you even into that, Gideon?
I love boxing. I love fighting. Anything. It's like one of the few sports I'll actually watch. But I'm not gonna pay for it.
What? Isn't it like $100?
Yes, exactly.
$100?
$100. A C.
You the second person today said they wasn't gonna pay for it, and I don't pay
to
for
like a sports bar or something.
Yeah, if I can go to a friend's house, I will. I would like to see it.
I don't know of any friends who would pay that.
I mean, like if you get.
I pay $20.
And you all pay $10.
Exactly. I pay as much as $20. We get 5 people and we get the fight, but I'm not doing that. Oh no.
I know people that's, you know, they financially they're in a position where they can afford it and will pay it. They will. They can afford it.
Some people see if I can have a fight party.
That's not a bad idea.
If my living room was bigger, I could have a fight party.
That's the one thing I have. I do have a huge living room.
Yeah. And then if you want to have food, you need like.
Oh, of course, I'm gonna be cooking.
Oh, so boom, $20 the door.
You can cook, Gideon.
Oh yeah.
You'll make a little kickback.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like I cook. I make my own chicken nuggets. I've made my own pizza. I've made lasagna, wings.
Well, I made pizza and chicken nuggets. We talked about the chicken nuggets before, I think.
Yeah. Well, I slice up the chicken and whatnot.
I've never made chicken nuggets, not homemade.
Real simple.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, my son was on like a chicken nugget kick, so.
My son likes the bland chicken, like McDonald's or something. He doesn't like the really seasoned kind.
No, my son likes like Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets.
Yeah, those are okay, but he prefers.
They don't have too many Chick-fil-A's around here in Michigan.
Oh,
the one they built was about 38 miles from me. No, scratch that, 38 minutes from me, and the line was so long. I said, ain't no way in the hell I'm finna stand up in this long ass line for no hamburger or no chicken sandwich or whatever they be serving up in there.
You didn't have hamburgers, girl. You been mad?
You say what?
They don't have hamburgers.
Oh, see, I ain't never been to Chick-fil-A. They just built one here, and it's a long ways away from me. That's a long ways. But the line was so long.
So it looks like our guests stood us up.
Oh, your guest?
Yeah, both of them. I spoke to both of them just in case to see if anybody wanted to. If anybody wanted to come in and have a discussion with us. And the main person who was ready to just go, I'm like, really? But it's all good.
Forget about them. Yeah, let's just keep this thing moving.
Yeah, we don't need them. We can handle a discussion on our own. So anyway. Oh, while we're still on the celebrity subject, what do y'all think about the whole situation with Venus Williams?
Oh, the accident?
Yeah.
They did her so dirty. Like, it's like I'm not surprised, but like, no, they did her so wrong. Like, they were so quick to vilify her and act like this was all her fault. And then they didn't press charges on her. But then the family like sued her for like all this money after he left. Like, no, and then like they're breaking it up like, oh, like she could be charged with like a homicide or like manslaughter, whatever. And then people were like, oh yeah, I mean, like, you know, she did it, she should be charged like anyone else. I'm like, that's the thing though, like she wasn't in the wrong. And then like, what is this? Like 8 months later, they're finally saying that she wasn't in the wrong and that she actually had the right of way at the time.
They knew that though. It's easy, you know, to see by investigation a green light as opposed to somebody running a red light. They've been knew that. I don't know why they tried to hang that woman out to dry.
Exactly. Like you could have gotten those traffic cameras. Like you could have gotten all the footage the day it happened, and this whole thing would have been avoided because she wasn't in the wrong. She had the right of way.
Correct.
Maybe they was trying to throw her family a few crumbs, you know, lawsuit money or something. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
No, but that's strange.
But you know, as a person of means, and you know, if you have a successful life and all kind of cash, you gotta watch it because people ain't shit. You know, they honestly not. I really think that they was trying to stir up the pot so they can get some money from that girl. You know,
I understand that from like the family's perspective. But like as like a law enforcement officer, like y'all should have been on top of this. Like there's no like you should have known within the first couple hours. Oh, okay, no, she had the right of way. Like that should have been decided, found out, discovered, squashed that first day it happened. It shouldn't have taken too many months when like as officers you have access to those traffic cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Technology is amazing. You know, it shouldn't take no more than a week to look at everything and make a determination. But they just wanted to try and hang her out to dry or something.
Mm-hmm.
White folks been real salty about them running the tennis game for years now. And they mad about that, you know. And they want to topple these young ladies any kind of way they can, but they can't. You know, they just a beast, you know, and ain't nothing they can do about it except let people sue them for bullshit. So
yeah, that's so sad though.
Yeah, you know, you just take that as a, you know, rule of thumb, you know, that if you become successful, as people out here that want to get you some kind of way, you know, if they couldn't get her criminally, they was hitting the pockets, you know. It's amazing. Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Oh, he's saying, I see what he where he answered you, Nikki.
Yeah, he's gonna come in now.
Okay, that's good.
Cool.
That's what's up.
Really wanted the brother to come through.
Yeah.
The other guy isn't. I'm like, I hit him up. I was like, here's the link. Click here. Nothing.
Oh, wow.
We need better guests. We need to get like 5 because they act a fool.
Yeah, I'm thinking in the future I'm gonna get at least 5 people lined up.
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
Yeah, because this last minute thing and people backing out, the potential of someone backing out. I call myself being slick by getting 2 people.
How come you didn't invite Melissa again? She's pretty cool.
I wanted to vary it. Yeah, she is cool. I like her, but I wanted to vary. I didn't want to have the same guests on every week.
Yeah, I think that he just wanted someone like specifically like for this topic.
Mm-hmm. And I would have asked Alyssa to be a regular. I would have asked Alyssa to be a regular, but I don't know if she'd be able to commit to that type of schedule.
Yeah.
She's got a really small child, as we've seen.
Yeah, I seen it. The baby was taking over. Like, look out! I'm running again. I'm running the show.
Yeah, her baby's cute though.
I'm like, look at him tearing down the house behind
her. That Venus Williams syndrome, I'm just glad it ended up working out.
Me too.
Ended up working out for the best. Cause yeah. Oh, did y'all see that video I posted of the guy moving the refrigerator while sitting on the back of a truck?
Yes.
Oh, crackhead Willie video.
That's actually the maintenance crew. Because
really?
I was taking one of our viewers home, and she just happened to notice that it was a guy sitting there holding the refrigerator. And I was like, oh, I gotta film this.
That's what they do around. They call them scrappers around here. You know, they take them to those steel places, scrap metal yards.
They're just transporting it to another apartment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but still. Wow. But did you see the link about the story of the man who followed the Muslim couple for 20 blocks? This is our what the fuck of the week, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
He followed these people for 20 blocks.
I think I heard a little bit about it.
Yeah. Basically, hold on. Let me see if I can show it. There we go.
Okay, I seen him.
Yeah. So basically, I like that look. That hurtful look, those tears. Just
because white people are so damn fragile. It's crazy.
They ain't fragile. They just like to pretend like they are. They're not fragile when they fucking over people. They know what they doing when they doing that stuff.
It's like they constantly dish out what they can't take. Like,
well, the fact that he might really go to prison and do time, now he's scared and he's crying. You know, this is a white dude. He thought he was gonna get away with that crap. You know, they usually do. And then the fact that they might actually go to prison for breaking the law and harassing people. You know, oh wow, I can't take it now.
And you see the quote down here at the bottom. I got to do it in my white guy book. I never tried to run into them. I was just going to work. I never tried to follow them. I never tried to be in contact with them after the fact. Oh my God.
Ugly cry.
And I'm just sitting there just laughing the whole time I read that.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
That is terrible. Why was he following? What, he was going to confront them and say something to them, beat them up? I mean, what was the point of him following them?
He was just being an idiot. Just wanted to follow them and take off that fucking burqa. This is America. Go back to your fucking country.
Yeah.
He mimicked firing a handgun, according to the Committee of the Council on American Islamic Relations, and attempted to hit their vehicle several times while shouting those things at them. So it's like, why do people care so much about what another person does? Don't associate yourself with it. If this person is over here with living that Islamic life, living by their Sharia law, let them live that. It doesn't pertain to you. Same thing with gay folks. Them niggas over there gay. They ain't thinking about you. Let them live their life. They ain't fucking with you. You don't fuck with them.
Exactly.
When people, Trump brought out a whole new era of bigotry when he came in office. He just removed a Band-Aid and showed everybody what was there.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Welcome to the crew.
What's going on?
All right, fellas, I finally made it in.
All right. Glad to have you, brother.
We can't even see you, Mike.
He might not be
You
running
can't
the
see me yet?
webcam.
No.
Oh, well, it's been such a difficulty just getting in. I hope you can at least hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you. You don't jump on cam, that's fine. If it don't work, as
Can
long as
y'all
we
give me
hear you.
about a 1 minute synopsis and bring me up on the speed?
Really, all we spoke about so far was the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather situation, how Floyd's actions are perceived as being overly vainglorious. However, Conor's are just brushed under the eyes. It's just being him. It's just having fun, just teasing. Black man does it, it's a problem. Like Nikki pointed out with Cam Newton, they took him as just being overly vainglorious, and it's just not. It's a whole double standard. And we also spoke about Venus Williams and the accident. But
Well,
that's all.
I'm gonna tell you. After I heard that yesterday, I sit back and I listened to it, and I thought to myself, okay, this guy just went racial, and the thing about it, it was to me. I thought it was all good and fun at first until he got to talking about number one, the waist and below. Okay, now you starting to stereotype us, and then when he went further and said, this how I do black women, it really at that point had hit a real all-time low for me. Because at that point I was saying, you're basically saying that you use this so-called black manhood to try to to try to let you know you bringing this to our sisters. And to me, that was a total lack of respect. Honestly, I think if I was Floyd, I would probably be getting in the ring with a message. And I would also, if I was Floyd, seek economic sanctions for going over the board a little bit. I just didn't feel like it was anything to do with boxing. I think it was very racist, and I thought it was very stereotypical, and it just, to me, it shows another level of I'm not gonna say white supremacy. I'm gonna say it shows another level of white inefficiency to believe that they can continually think that this is okay. See, that's what white supremacy teaches. It teaches you that things like this is okay, and that, you know what, black people are apparently not comprehensible enough to understand this. That's their thinking. Without a shadow of a doubt, it was very disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
It was classless and it was tasteless. But when I look at this right here, it doesn't surprise me. What I'm more focused on than anything these days is how we as black folk gonna continue, are we gonna get these people away from continually putting their hands on our women and our children? That's the most important thing to me of all things out there.
Mm-hmm.
I can deal with them. I can deal with the talk. Okay. I can deal with them with the talk, but it's the stereotypical racism that continues to plague me, and think that, wait a minute, you guys think that you can actually continue to slander our women and slander our children without there being consequences. And really, realistically, I don't know about every other guy, but I know one thing. There's not one day in his lifetime that I could ever see you put your hands on a black woman in front of me. I'm going in after you.
Right.
I'm going in after you. You are going to see, if you don't see hell that day, you're going to see something so close to it that you will always look at a black woman and think to yourself, she is so far off limits.
That's what's up. That's what's
that
up.
I can't touch her.
And as a man, that's how we supposed to feel. That's one of our duties, is to protect our women. But the sad thing is, a lot of the younger guys today, they are who we need to protect our women from.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem I see with a lot of our with a lot of our young black men. I don't blame the single mothers, because a single mother's got to do what a single mother's got to do. I blame a father who is so weak that if the woman decides to move on, then he decides to act an ass because she's moved on. That's still your child,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of how you and she may feel. That is still your child. And what a man needs to do is he needs to say, "Hey, listen, this is my child. We may have disagreements, but I'm gonna tell you something. There are three things we're not gonna do. Number one, we're not going to disrespect and dishonor our child in front of each other. Number two, we're going to work hard to let our child know that, you know what, on certain issues, we are one." And then number three, I think it's very, very, very important for our young men or our young women to know that mom and dad have a commonality, a goal that is so serious with one another that we don't allow it to become a disturbance to their future. Because if we continue to say it's all about us, okay, if we continue to allow it to be all about us, then you know what? We begin to destroy the child. And bringing a, you know, $200 or $300 or $400 to the table, or a credit card to the table, but not being able to show that child love, it's a total disrespect to the child. We need to let our children know we love them with a love that's greater than love.
I agree. But in order to move on, we're gonna have to get to this next topic. So, first topic, we're gonna talk about the role of the church in the Black community. What role do they serve? What should they serve? How can they serve it? And what should they do better? Let's start off first with Miss Nikki.
Okay. So so based off of like the actual Bible, the role of the church is supposed to be to serve the poor and the elderly and take care of the widows. That's what the church is supposed to do. Take care of the poor and the elderly, take care of the sick and then the shut in, and protect the widows. That's not what is happening in most churches. And I think that honestly, I feel like the Black church is like a source of a lot of the issues in the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have said a mouthful. Please keep going, Nikki. Please keep going.
You want me to keep going? Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
feel free to expound on that.
expound on what part? The first part, the second part, all of it.
Pretty much everything. Like basically, you said that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So when you look in the New Testament, I feel like it was like the Apostle Paul. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's the one who talked about like setting up the church and everything like that. Yes, baby. Okay. And when he talked about it, like he said on several occasions, I can try and see if I can find like what verse it's in, but he talked about that. He talked about, taking care of the poor people. Like honestly, Medicare and Medicaid shouldn't have to exist. Food stamps shouldn't have to exist. Like I was talking to one of my cousins, and she's honestly like the most conservative relative that I have. And when she was like, like welfare shouldn't exist, food stamps shouldn't exist. And at first I'm like, what you mean? And she was just like, that's not the government's job. That's the job of the church. That's what the church is supposed to do. Like if you attend a church and you're like out on the streets, you lost your job, you're about to be homeless, you should be able to go there for assistance.
Okay.
Like I grew up going to church. And I honestly remember my parents giving like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 every Sunday to our church. When things changed for us financially, and like before we moved down here to Carolina, I remember like I think when we moved to come down here, I think they gave like me and my sister like a little like like a little portable DVD player like for our drive. This is after like 15 years of my parents giving like $5,000, like thousands of dollars a month to this church. Like this is after them like paying to help like add like a second balcony. This is after them helping the church buy the building next door.
Wow.
But now when it's the other way around, it's like there was no assistance whatsoever. Like there was none.
Wow.
So
amazing.
That's one thing. And then to elaborate on my second part of like, I feel like it is the cause of a lot of our issues. It's because, I mean, honestly, whenever I think of like every major issue we have in the Black community, it all goes back to that. Like, even, I mean, we've talked before about like mental health, like mental health in the Black community and why we don't take it seriously. And it was constantly brought up, oh, just pray about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is our attitude towards a lot of things. It's not just our attitude towards mental health. It's our attitude in terms of poverty. It's our attitude. Like, I mean, there is no reason why a pastor should be making $50,000 plus more a year than the average member of his congregation. Why are these churches not having like financial responsibility classes? Why are they not having like parenting classes?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are kids growing up who are being abused in church or abused by their parents, and it's like it's not talked about. So I feel like areas that they're supposed to step in and like do something in, that they don't do it. But when it comes to something like someone's sexuality, that's when we want to come in. That's when they want to be active. That's when they want to be heard. But
yeah, well, and I totally disagree with that one.
Huh?
No, I said I totally disagree with the whole. I totally disagree with the
sexuality part.
With the church's need to suddenly come in and talk about just sexuality when they are so void of so many other issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's not okay to me at all. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like that isn't the role of the church to me. And if we're gonna go based off of what the actual Bible said, the average church in this country is not doing what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, to piggyback off of that about how the church can empower folks, I can definitely see that this kind of blends in with the Black empowerment topic, but basically, if I ran a church, the community would thrive. The church that the community exists in would thrive for the simple fact that, yes, I'm going to be collecting tithes, and yes, I'm going to be making my money, but every year I'm going to have an annual business plan initiative. Take the best business plan that any member of the church comes up with, or anyone in the community comes up with, and we're going to fund that business. With that tithe money, we're going to fund that business and help them get that business off the ground. And once they begin to make a profit, as a church, we'll take 10%.
That's right.
And do it
and we'll help,
every year until everybody's thriving. Everybody's got money. Everybody is financially stable, and the church is making plenty of money, which would make me rich. But everybody's making money, and I'm helping people, charity, doing everything. So it's like that's how a church can truly empower the Black community. But they don't want to do that. They're too busy. Creflo's about his dollars. Eddie wanted to make sure his money and his boys were long. So, that was their priority. They were about.
Oh, don't stop at them too.
Yeah, it's a whole lot more. Joel Osteen wanted to make some more cream. It's a lot of them. Everybody's out there trying to make their money. And
I mean, like, I want to be clear too. Like, I have nothing against pastors being financially well off. I have no issue with that whatsoever. I mean, like, I've heard people like, before said like, oh, well, like, y'all don't care about like Beyonce being rich, but you have a problem with Joel Osteen or Creflo Dollar being rich. Like, no, that's not a problem at all. My problem is, why aren't you helping your congregation get there as well?
Mhm.
That is such a beautiful point. That is such a beautiful point.
And now, as it seems as it currently exists, not in every case, but definitely in most, the black church, and I know I'm going to get some heat for this, but the black church tends to be a point of contention. It tends to be more so of a drain of resources on the community because they like to shame people into not paying tithes.
Oh my God.
Will a man rob God? What black church doesn't use that scripture? Will a man rob God?
Honestly, like I want to say, like the church that I grew up in, like towards the end when I was maybe like 12 or 13, like right before we like really left, it was almost every Sunday. Like in the summertime, yeah, y'all feel this cool air blowing, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
This is your church. This is your church, and y'all want to keep the air on, don't you? And it's just like that is not okay.
It's not.
Wow.
And then
Not okay at all.
Creflo actually had a list of the board of names on the board of people who didn't pay tithes, and then he mentioned that he wished that he can take them outside and shoot them.
Are you serious?
I will send you the YouTube video with the audio
Financial
of him
shaming.
actually saying that.
I remember that. That's out of control. And I mean, like I said,
He
like
said it, and people's like, "Oh, he was just joking," but in the end, he said, "This is serious, y'all." Verbatim,
he
he said,
wasn't
"This is
joking.
serious, y'all."
He was not joking one bit.
No, he was financially shaming them.
He was.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
That's what he was doing.
like another thing too is like so many black churches are in the middle of the hood. They
Mhm.
are in the middle of the hood. And
Yes,
honestly, I feel like
as is Creflo Dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but they do absolutely nothing in the community. This organization called New Era of Detroit, they went smack dab to Pastor Wayne T. Jackson. Pastor Wayne T. Jackson officiated over President Trump's inauguration, I think. I think he put a robe or something over him.
I know
Yeah,
exactly
him.
what you're talking about. Yes.
Yes, he's from my hood. He's sitting up in there bringing millions of dollars. His church is in the middle of the hood. He bringing in millions of dollars, and he does absolutely nothing for that neighborhood. So New Era just came in the middle of service, just crashed the whole party. It was on the news. It was a big uproar, and they told why. They said people are starving in this community, and this fool ain't doing nothing to help the people. You know, it's really ridiculous. They should try and help the poor. You know, don't sit up there
that's
and
what they're
just
supposed to do.
That's what Jesus did. I thought we were supposed to be more like Jesus. That's what Jesus supposedly did in the Bible. He fed the poor. He didn't say, "Give me 10% of your income and I'll feed you."
First of all, I think it's also important to point out if you are making minimum wage, if you are living below the poverty line, you should not be paying tithes
At all.
at all. No, absolutely not. You should not be paying tithes at all. You are not in a position to pay tithes.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you guys this, because I want to hit on a subject that I don't think a lot of people absolutely hit on, and it is so. I mean, I'm talking about not only is it so prosperous, but nobody ever speaks on it. Yearly, yearly we pump out some of the most top tier athletes in the world. We, year in and year out, we pump out all these high schools some of the best black athletes. We talking about going to Clemson, Georgia, LSU, Alabama. They go to all these places, and y'all, let me tell you something. When you're talking about $65 and $70 a ticket to go in there and watch these guys play, and these stadiums 80, 90,000 seats strong. Now that's just stadium. We're not talking television revenue. We're not talking vending revenue.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking program revenue. We're not talking, open market revenue where they got jerseys and stuff up in places like Walmart. So when you look at, let's say on average, let's say a 1 billion a year industry, but yet and still none of this talent is going to Howard. None of it's going to Jackson State. None of it's going to Florida A&M. Could you imagine if we had our most supreme best athletes going to these schools and ESPN and Fox and all of them had to turn their cameras our way? What it would do for the black community, what it would do for the schools. But nobody speaks on that. But here comes another fall coming up in about, 2 or 3 months. And it's billions of dollars that's going to get poured into it. Tell me the last time you seen Alabama win a national championship without a top black athlete. When was the last time you see Florida State win one without a black quarterback? Clemson won one last year with a black quarterback. This kid brought Clemson in. In 3 years' time, this kid brought Clemson in well over $450 million in revenue.
Mm.
And you know what? From Clemson, he walked away with absolutely nothing from them.
Mm.
Yeah,
This is
honestly,
a subject
that whole,
we really need to hit on hard in America.
yeah, that whole college athlete thing. Now, people always like to liken the NFL and NBA to slavery because they're checking these people, they're drafting them, but they're paying them for that. That's not slavery. Now, college athletes, they love to say, well, they're going to school for free, but that don't cost the school nothing, but they making everything off of them.
Gideon, that's one game. That's
One
one
of my
game.
friends did like a paper on that, basically saying how like when athletes are basically saying that like college athletes should be paid, and just comparing how much revenue like one college player can bring into that school over like a 4-year time period compared to how much like the tuition is. I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
And they pay the coaches.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
who are actually doing it.
I think that it is really sad though when like these college players get injured, and it's like they never get to go pro. They never get to like go past that level because they got like a career-ending injury in college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a la Marcus Lattimore a few years ago, which he was pretty much a sympathetic draft pick, and he stayed like 2 years with the 49ers. But here was a guy that was a supreme SEC running back. Now, anybody that knows football knows if you starting in the SEC, there's about a 90% chance you getting drafted to go to the NFL on draft day.
Mm.
Now, this guy ended up in a matter of 2 years having 2 knee operations, which dropped his stock from first round, because he was a sure lock to be first round, to all the way down to 6th round. So just on draft day alone, this kid lost about 17 to 18 million dollars. Now, imagine that. 17 to 18 million dollars. Use your money wisely, and you're pretty much taking care of your family the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could live off $100,000 a year for 10 years, for a decade, and y'all living comfortable. See, this is what doesn't get looked at. What also doesn't get looked at is the fact that we're pushing black athletes in colleges at an 80% rate compared to we're pushing black coaches at a 20% rate.
Mm-hmm.
See, nobody speaks of this. Nobody, black folk, we have a tendency to always want to be in agreement to make sure that the boat is stroked in the right way. Sometimes we can't always allow the boat to be stroked going east if we know it's supposed to go west. We got to sometimes sit back and say, no, something about this just isn't right.
We lost our juice, Mike. We lost our juice since the civil rights movement. Nobody wants to fight. Everybody's just willing to lay down and take it and pass me the joint while you're at it, because I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna take the ass whooping and not even fight back. It's easier to just get along and agree with people and just have a peaceful life, even though there's been an injustice. It drives me crazy because people just we don't even fight back. We don't even file complaints. I went to a concert the other week, a guy concert, and the Negroes didn't show up. And you'd be surprised how many people complain. And then one girl I know, she said that she wouldn't file a complaint at all. It was a good show. Are you crazy? I came to see, yeah. And damn it, they're going to give me some kind of refund. You're going to give me some kind of voucher. You know, I think I done filed about 10 different complaints. Because I just can't. I even showed up on the news. I think you seen a link. You guys seen a link where I said I was on the news. You're not going to sit up there and fuck me over. You know, y'all finna give me something, a refund, a voucher, or something. But most people, they don't even want to, they don't complain, they don't argue, they don't say a word, they just take the ass whipping and it's all good. And it's very sad.
She came to see God, okay? And God better show up.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let me piggyback on what you're saying there, Benita. Because here's the thing about it. You know what's the sad thing about it? That happens in the judicial system. Y'all do the statistics if you don't believe me. 90% of all crimes in America are played out. Played out. I mean, I'm talking about guys who know. Well, realistically, I know I haven't did anything, but you know what? I'd rather just go ahead and plead out than deal with the court system. So that just comes to show you, at a 90% rate, they have got our people so mentally shocked into believing that something can happen to them that they say, hey, you know what? I may have did nothing, but guess what? Well, I may have did minimum compared to what they're trying to show me at maximum, because they're saying, hey, I'd rather take this plea and do what? A year probation and spend $350 paying fines rather than me take a chance to go spend 3 to 5 years in prison.
That's because you have a lot of people who don't know their rights. They don't have all of the necessary, like they don't know about the law as much as they should. Not only that,
Exactly.
but they oftentimes they don't have the financial resources to hire a good lawyer. They're stuck with a public defender who like doesn't even know their name half the time.
Right.
Not only that, but I mean, even when you do everything right, even when you do know your rights, even when you do hire like a good attorney, we're not looked at the same in a court of law. So, I mean, that I do understand why some people just go ahead and just take, like, you know, just go ahead and just plead out to certain things to an extent. Right. But I mean, it's like, you know, what are you going to do?
You know, here in the state of Michigan, they love throwing Negroes in prison. So I would never recommend to any black person, female or male, to just take a plea deal. You know, you just got to fight back. You just can't let the system, which has been racist for many years, and right now it's just so covert and systemic, it's ridiculous. And you just come out with your hands up and just lay down and just take the ass whipping. You know, you got to get up sometimes and fight back. You might not know the law, but
they don't either.
They
don't either, and that's the shameful thing about it. They don't either. But you know what though? It's like having a condom over a burned penis.
Oh.
And I'm sorry, I had to.
Maybe he should have put on the condom before he got burned.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, as Benita was saying, they don't know. So, you know, a woman lays down with a guy and she don't know he has the ability to burn her. So, you know what? She says, protect her. She protecting herself, supposedly with him having this thing on. But the reality is, there's always that reality that it just needs a little bit to seep out for her to get that infection. And see, in our court, now referencing that back to our court system, it just needs a little bit to seep out before one of our brothers or sisters feel like, man, I can be contaminated by this. And what I mean by the contamination, I mean, you know, we have to look at the fact that a lot of people, they're afraid to have anything on the record. But I mean, I know personally me, I guess I'm different because I'm a firm believer. You put your hands on me, you best believe you better be ready to defend yourself or die. It's just that simple with me.
You just gotta fight back. It's, and it might not be a physical, it might not be violence, but if your life is in jeopardy and these white people are trying to put you in a penitentiary and take you from your family, your life, you got to fight back. You just can't take a shitty plea deal for a crime you didn't commit.
I mean, okay, so have you guys ever seen like any of those like fight scenes in those movies where it's like one guy is fighting like 20 guys and it's like he ends up like beating up everyone, and it's like like after I saw the fifth guy get beat up, I wouldn't have wanted to go and fight him. Like I just saw him beat up 10 guys. Why am I gonna go run at him and be number 11? I think it's kind of like that. Like, yeah, really, yeah, fight for your rights. But when it's like you see time and time again of people fighting for their rights and ending up nowhere or worse off than they were before, you can kind of see where some people get discouraged and feel like, let me go ahead and just not even try because it's not going to work out for me. Like, I mean, like, I understand why some people get very discouraged when it comes to that.
And I can understand that, Nikki. But let me piggyback off that by saying this right here. If that happens to you one time, then I can understand it. But what if it gets to the point of the fifth time? At some point, when do you get to that point where you say, I'm tired of this?
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, but like, have you guys read
no, see, let me intervene before you say anything else. See, the first thing you said, yeah, but see, the thing about it, we can't take and make it an option anymore, because the moment you say but, it becomes an option. And let me tell you something, and I'm not being mean or anything when I say this, but here's my thing. Trayvon Martin is dead because you know what? He said but. Philip Castile is dead because you know what? He said but. At some point, we got to stop saying but. We got to stop being the people that stand around and look while one white cop takes down one of our sisters and his 9 brothers standing around us. We got to stop being the sisters that stand around and let them destroy our men by y'all running to the police because you know what? A guy's drunk, he's having a bad day. Put his ass out the house, lock him out, and tell him you can't come back here. But you know what though? You got to look at the big picture. And the big picture is this right here. This man works. If I destroy his future, I start to destroy my child's future. Because see, they see it from a more systemic level than a lot of us are looking at. Because once they get that big felony on you, you know what? Then they'll tell you, oh well, we'll forgive this and that. But guess what? You got 20 to 22% of companies out here that will hire you. So that means 80 to 78% of all companies have locked you out, regardless of how good you may be, regardless of your qualities. You're already locked out at about 30% of them just on the fact that you know what, you're black. So now add black and a felony in there, and you know what you got? You got a guy that he's not going to be able to get the opportunity that he wants, even though they know how good he can be.
Okay, so you kind of lost me with.
Yeah, we got to go back to the earlier point here.
Okay, so like that part. I mean, you kind of lost me with them being like, well, but, and with your example of like us like, okay, I look at it like this: most black men are not afraid of black women.
They're not,
which isn't a bad thing. Which is not a bad thing at all. But if I'm in a relationship with a man and he comes home drunk, beating my ass, I will absolutely call the cops on him. I certainly will do that. I'm not gonna, no, because I don't want him to have problems getting a job. No, you should have thought about that before you came in here putting your hands on people.
Right. And I can agree with that.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah, I said, and I can agree with that.
Okay. I don't know. I think there was a little miscommunication there. Then I'm not sure.
No, I just said I can agree with that.
Mhm.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I can agree with that. But I don't want to veer too far from what Gideon's point of empowerment. What I'm saying is this right here: we empower one another by knowing what we should do that's right and what we should not do that's wrong. Empowerment starts from having expectations. You know, I'll be honest with you. I've gotten so used to you guys that every day that I go to the book, I look to hear a comment. I look to see a comment from one of you guys, hear from one of you guys, because you know what? And here's the thing about it: with all of us, I look for us to sometimes disagree, but I also look for us to have valid points that we agree on. I also look for us to say, hey, you know what? We respectfully disagree, or I disagree strongly, but at the same time, we always bring each other back in because you know what? We can support each other in knowing that okay, they're trying to make a point, they're trying to do this or that, and I can see certain things in their points that I may agree with, that I may not agree with. But you know what though? Every day we get to empower each other. We get to empower each other by saying, hey, that was a positive statement. Hey, I like what you said. Hey, Gideon makes a great point over here. Hey, Benita makes a great point over here. Hey, Nikki, she makes a great point. And you know what?
Nicki Minaj.
Did you hear the hesitation in his voice when he said that?
Look, I may have had a whole section where she and I disagreed, but we brought it back in because we got black love for each other.
Nicki Minaj.
But listen, did you hear the hesitation when he got to me?
Oh no, I didn't hear it.
I thought I was the only one that perceived that.
Said, Gideon makes good points over here. Benita makes good points over here. Nikki.
Yeah, because I'm like me and Nikki don't battle, but you know what? Though at the end of the day, I have much love for her because you know what? The thing about it, she keeps it so real, and she keeps it who she is, and you know what? She never veers away from being Nikki.
Thank you.
And
yeah, I mean, Mike, you and I have went at it before because, like I've called you out on some stuff, you called me out on some stuff, and in the end, we had a discussion and we came to an understanding.
And it was nothing but love at the end, right?
No doubt. There's no reason to get personal.
End result should always be love. Me and Nikki battled it out. And I'm like, let me just go on over here and walk on out of here because this is that's me. I'm just gonna run anyway. So,
and that's the whole purpose of this podcast is so we can put people with differing opinions and differing views together, and we see if we can come to an understanding in the end or come to some common ground. So,
what's the next topic?
All right, so
are we finished with the first one, the church one? Mm-hmm. Are we moving on?
We kind of segued into the Black empowerment, but like basically, just as the bottom line, as a summary from everybody. Number one, what will it take? It's a few questions here. Number one, what will it take to achieve it? Number two, what is it required from us? And number three, why haven't we done this? With me, I feel like unity is the main thing.
I was going to say that.
We were going to be united, and we need real unity from all Black people, not excluding others because
that's like
they love somebody different, or they decided to do something different with their body, or they decided to love a white person. Fuck all that bullshit.
Oh, I have a story.
Fuck all that. Okay, I'm gonna give you just a second. But fuck all that bullshit. We need to come together because one finger, if I poke you, that shit don't hurt. But if I poke you like this, that shit don't hurt. But if I take all five of those fingers, put them together and punch your ass, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out.
Right.
So that's what we need to do. We need to step up, get our fingers together, get our fucking power together, and knock somebody the fuck out. Go
Okay.
ahead, Nikki.
Right.
So, do y'all remember about the whole like Keith Lamont Scott thing that happened?
Who? The
Keith
who?
Lamont Scott, the guy who was killed in Charlotte.
Yeah, Keith Lamar Scott.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I live
What
in.
happened?
He was killed by a police officer. He was waiting outside to pick up his kid from elementary school in the carpool.
Yeah.
So I live in Charlotte. So of course, like day one, I mean, I was downtown during the whole protest and everything like that. So day one, it was like we were being pepper spray, tear gas, they're shooting rubber bullets. And it was like there was like so much like unity there. Like people who didn't know each other were like helping each other. I mean, like they started like, like spraying like tear gas and like pepper spray and everything like that. And like when they started shooting like tear gas, like somebody that like I didn't even know like really like grabbed me and pulled me out of there because like you can't see and like everything's like, really foggy and stuff. So like during that time, there was so much unity. Everyone was together. I think like day 3 or 4, that was when the like Islamic Nation came out. And like I was honestly like sitting down in like a small circle with like the like Nation of Islam, a guy who was a Pyru, a Blood, a Crip, and the what is it called? The Disciple of Gangsters or whatever.
Gangster Disciples, the GD.
Gangster Disciples.
Yeah. So it's honestly like 12 of us, and we're all just like having conversation. For like a whole like 10 days straight, there were no crimes in Charlotte, like black on black crimes. There were no gang related crimes in Charlotte because everyone was there. All of the energy was focusing on that. I want to say by day like 10, things calmed down. A lot less people were coming out, but it was like that's when all the issues started back up again. Like people were still coming out there, but like people were still doing like different speeches. Mind you, like now this is after Justin Carr had also been killed by police at the protest for Keith Lamont Scott. So we're all out there. People are like, getting up, doing poetry. People are out there just like talking, like sharing their experiences. A group of black men got mad at one of the black men who was speaking because he was gay, and he brought up that he was gay in his speech. And it turned into a whole, this isn't about the gay shit. We're not here for that gay shit. And it's like, what are you doing? Like that, like y'all are like, why are you trying to start a fight with him and like on your side? Like, what are you doing? I think maybe like the 4th or 5th day. Now, mind you, the 2 people who like organized this were 2 black girls. So one of the women, like, we're out there like marching. She starts talking on the megaphone, like, this is where we're gonna go, this is what we're gonna do. And this guy starts like screaming over her. And another girl's like, you know what? Y'all are not about to sit here and scream over the women here like y'all did in Charleston. We're not doing that again. He started going off on her. We're not here for that sexist bullshit. We're not here for your feminist agenda. We're here because of this. And like you just saw, like as soon as everything started to calm down, that's when people started going at each other. Like we've been good for 4 or 5 days now. Like, what are y'all doing? And it just like, and everything was chaotic. Everything was crazy. It was like perfect unity. Once things calmed down, it was like everyone started going at each other. Everyone started going out. It just got ridiculous. And it's like when it's like super, super like dramatic and a whole lot of chaos, I feel like, yeah, we are good at sticking together. But as soon as it calms down, we don't want to deal with this person because they're gay. We don't want to deal with this person because they're trans. We don't want to deal with this person because they're Christian. We don't want to deal with this person because they're atheist. And it's like, we're never going to have any type of unity if y'all want to nitpick about petty bullshit. And that's what it is. Sexual orientation, relationships, petty bullshit. Like,
that's exactly it, because they are systemically taking that fist and moving this finger, removing that finger, removing that finger, removing that finger. Then we're just a bunch of fingers that ain't really doing nothing. What we gonna do? Tickle the motherfucker's asshole? Shit, ain't nothing to do.
When you flip the script and you change, I know a guy who was really nice and well read, and he was a nice, smart guy, young guy, and he never cursed. He never used filthy language. He was very articulate.
It's not me.
But until he, I found out he was atheist. He can say some disrespectful stuff about the Lord, about religion. Oh, he could say some disrespectful things. I just feel like when people say, when you focus on the script and the point at hand, the purpose, this is why we are here, and then we can take over.
It should never divert from that.
Exactly. We can take over. We can run the show and rule the world. But everybody kind of come in with their own little personal agenda. Nobody really cares. I really shouldn't even ask that dude about him and his religious background because it's none of my business. He's a cool guy. He never disrespected me. But, certain things are...
Here's my thing. When you're at a rally, if the rally is about Black empowerment, and I'm just putting this out here, and if I don't mean to offend anybody by any chance, but if it's about Black empowerment, then there's no place for LGBT empowerment at that point, and the reason I say that, there's no reason for feminist empowerment at that point, because here's what I'm saying. You're simply saying, I'm here for this subject. Because
stay the course.
That's right, because once you start letting it divert, now, you can be gay, you can be lesbian, you can be whatever you choose to be, but you must understand something. You're here for a purpose. That purpose is empowerment. It's not for the purpose of raising the flag for the LGBT community. It's not for the purpose of raising the flag for the feminist community. It's not for the raising the flag of the Black power community. It's for Black growth.
Okay.
And I don't care.
Now,
I don't care
like
about
going
you.
off of my situation, that wasn't the case. He wasn't trying to switch the narrative. He was talking about his personal life, and I think out of maybe like a 2.5 minute talk, he maybe took like 15 seconds and said, "Yeah, and like being Black and gay, this is what we go through." So it wasn't diverting the conversation. I think it's also important to like bring up that feminism came after womanism. Womanism was started by Black women during the Civil Rights Movement. Why?
Well, they piggybacked off. To be totally honest with you, white females piggybacked off Shirley Chisholm on feminism.
Yeah, I know because womanism, which is basically Black feminism, started first, and it was started during the Civil Rights Movement because during the original Civil Rights Movement, Black women realized that civil rights weren't going to solve all of their issues. Now, this is my issue when it comes to that. You are a Black straight man. Being Black is like the strike that you have against you. So of course, Black community, like encouraging uplifting Black people. However, as a Black woman, as a Black LGBT person, fighting for Black rights does not solve all of your issues. And I feel personally like Black men constantly want Black women to put our Blackness before our womanhood. So when we want to speak about feminism, y'all don't want to hear it. We have to wait. We need to calm down because we're focusing on Black lives right now.
And
at the same time, I cannot separate my womanhood from my Blackness. I can't. They go hand in hand. They're together. And what a lot of Black men do is the same thing that a lot of white women do. White women want us to separate. Well, white women want Black women to put their womanhood before their Blackness. It doesn't work that way. Because just like you have that one strike of being Black. Some of us have 2 strikes of being Black and a woman. Some of us have 3 strikes of being Black and a woman and gay. Some of us have 3 strikes of being, or some of us have 2 strikes of just being Black and gay. So it's not like, oh yeah, let me put part of myself to the side and just focus on this. I can't afford to do that. Right now, if Black people and white people were on a level playing field, I would still be treated as a second-class citizen because of my gender.
Okay.
So, I mean, I cannot sit here and say, oh, I'm going to put Black people before women.
Okay.
I cannot sit here and say, I'm going to put women before Black people because for me, it goes hand in hand.
Okay, let me intervene and say this right here. I think what a lot of our sisters forget is this right here. See, our sisters start jumping to feminism back in 70, 71. They start jumping to feminism and had totally forgot we were black man and black woman still in the struggle for respect together. So if I'm in this together with you trying to get respect, now all of a sudden you've diverted to go onto your own track. Now, in doing this, and I want you to really keep up with what I'm about to say with this. In doing this, you get a government that comes to you and says, listen, we'll take care of y'all. We'll give y'all a place to stay. We'll give you food assistance. We'll give you all this other stuff, but you can't have a male there.
Now,
See,
I hear people
it
say this.
started to separate us
See, and like
so
I
badly.
hear this argument all the time, but I do not know a single black woman who had a black man in her home helping to provide for her and her kids, and she kicked him out to get welfare. I
I
do
don't
not know
either.
a single black woman who had kids with the man and kicked him out of the home that he was helping provide for so that she can get in government housing.
Nikki,
I
You,
have
you,
Nikki,
you
never heard of
probably
this.
Nikki,
don't know
hold on.
anybody like that, Nikki, but I see where Bush is coming from. You know,
Right.
you get a
Well,
certain level of
hold
success.
on, let me finish.
She
What I'm
didn't say
saying
it
is
doesn't
like
happen. She just said she doesn't know anyone. I
now,
don't either.
like what I'm saying is the situations that I have seen and have heard of where a woman did kick a man out so that she could keep her section, that man was not providing for that household at all. So
No,
it was
Nikki,
either we're all gonna be homeless and on the street, or you can go stay somewhere else and I can make sure my kids have somewhere to live. I
no,
have
Nikki,
never in my
But
life heard of a
Nikki.
man.
I'm just saying, well, Mr. Bush, tell me if I'm wrong, Mike. You're
Okay,
saying that if a black woman reaches a certain level of success, you're saying that it's a chance that outside forces can come along
No,
and offer her a certain amount of money to walk away from the struggle. Am I wrong?
that's not what he's talking. He's
no,
talking
no,
about
no, no,
welfare
no,
and
no.
like
Wait,
government
no, no, no,
housing. Because
no, no,
in
no,
like government
no, no,
housing
no.
places, it's like a lot of times you're only allowed to have the people who are on the lease there.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
wait a minute,
so now
wait a
if
minute.
it's you and a man living there and he makes a certain amount of money, you may not be able to keep your housing.
I'm
So
saying
now it's
that
like
Okay,
Mr.
but
Bush.
she, wait a minute. She no, Benita's partially right. Okay, but let me also say this right here, Nikki, you're partially right. Benita's partially right. But see, here's the thing that Nikki, you're a little bit younger. You're younger than me, and I'm gonna say this right here. There was a time where there was not a choice. They came to black women and said, "Hey, we understand you got a guy living here. Now, we're gonna cut you off
Yep.
from this
They would come
if
to the
we
house,
find
didn't
out."
they, Mike?
Exactly, they were coming literally inspecting.
Go
Now,
through all your closets, looking under your bed,
Mhm.
everything.
exactly. So now you have a woman that now. See, here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it. Right now, Nikki, if I walked up to you and I said, Nikki, here's $1,000 to go shopping with. You know what? You have a free, independent state of mind that day because you know why? Because you know you're going to be doing for you and you're feeling free. Now, the same thing went on with our sisters. Guess what? You mean to tell me this man can send me a check? This man can make sure I'm getting something to eat every month, and I'm not obligated to do anything but let him walk through my house maybe once a month. Guess what? I don't have to now report to you, black man, that coming home to me every day. I don't have to cook for you now, black man, that coming home to me every day.
But that wasn't always happening, Mike, though. Women were having men anyway.
That's not what's happening. What's happening is that you had black men who were not providing for a household, who were just living there. And it was either, okay, let me make sure my kids and I are straight, or we're all going to be struggling. Like I said, I do not know I've never even heard of a single woman who kicked out a man who was contributing even $1,500 a month in exchange for $300 of food stamps. That doesn't make sense. What has been happening is that women who were taking care of their entire household, who did not have a man who was actually putting into that, who had a man who was just living there, who wasn't contributing, they got put out. Because why would I have you here? You contribute absolutely nothing, and now I have an option to get a place to live, food stamps, and like, welfare check. That makes sense. It does not make sense to kick out a man who is bringing in, even like I said, even if it's only $1,500 a month, it wouldn't make sense. Because now you're kicking him out, and instead of having $1,500, now you have like $300 in food stamps, and maybe like, I don't know, $300 in welfare.
I hate to cut you off. I am not trying to be rude at all, because I respect what you're saying. But going back to the earlier point, tell me if I'm wrong, Bush. You're trying to say that there are sellouts out here that is willing to sell out everybody, the race, the whole Black Lives Matter struggle for whatever the crumbs the white man is trying to throw them. Am I wrong?
You got some out there that will.
Yeah,
but that's not what he was talking about, though. He was talking about government assistance in Black women.
Okay. Let me direct this to Gideon then.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, and I want Gideon to say this, and I'm simply saying this to Gideon because you know what, from a male perspective, Gideon can understand what I'm saying with this right here. It's not just so much as you being in the projects. It's the fact that, guess what? Once I say, hey, you put your name on that lease, you're in control of everything. You know what that does? Mentally to a man, that takes away. He says, I'm no longer that man. I'm no longer that provider. I'm weak. I'm up under her. And see, every man, he's going to feel that. Wait a minute. My name's on nothing. I'm up under her. Am I right or wrong about that, Gideon?
I think it's a security thing because I've been there.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I've been to the point where my name was not on the lease, but I never felt that way. I never felt like I'm under this woman because regardless, I'm the man in my household. I take care of business. So that little paperwork is not going to change nothing in my view. I'm satisfied with where I am. And I'm going to do my job. I'm going to take care of my family. I'm going to pay what I got to pay. Like, just a random. Right now, I'm not even working. Like, well, not, a job. I'm working, but not a job. In the past
You're still an entrepreneur, yeah. You're still an entrepreneur.
I've had to come up with, like, over $700. And it's like, I've had 24, 48 hours to come up with it. And I do what I got to do. I do what I got to do. It's like, I do what I got to do because as a man, I would not feel comfortable just sitting around the house, not bringing in the check, relying on my lady. My lady made me
wrong with people like that, though, Gideon. There's a lot of mentally ill people that will lay right there and not do anything and watch it happen.
But the thing is, my wife is not in this alone. She did not make this baby alone. She did not sign this lease alone. She did not do all of this by herself. I was there. So because I was there, I got to do my part. You think Georgia Power cares? Oh, he doesn't have a job right now. We'll let him slide on. Fuck no. They want their money. They come to me like a pimp. Where is my money? So I come up with it. So it's like, I don't feel, give me a second. I don't feel insecure or feel like I'm less than because of a name, because I know I'm doing what I got to do. My wife was with me when I had absolutely nothing. She's been there. So now that I get, when I started getting stuff, we started going to places like Ruth's Chris. We started spending $100 on dinner and buying stuff. She come home, I done ran her a bath, I done did her nails, I done massaged her and all of that stuff just because, you know, you got a good when you stick with her. So it's like I'm confident in who I am. So it's not really an issue at all. So I mean, I'm 35. I may not think like some of these younger dudes younger than me, but it's just I don't know. I just look at things from both sides. I call out women on their bullshit, and I call out men on their bullshit.
Exactly. And I mean, like, you know, it was brought up earlier, my age. I'm 21. There are grown men that I know who are older than you, Gideon, who have no problem sitting up in a woman's house doing absolutely nothing. Like, those are the men that you know, when it comes time to, okay, you know what, either you can keep struggling with this, dude, you're gonna, like, you know, go ahead and like go downtown and apply for whatever assistance you need. Those are the men that end up getting kicked out. The ones who have been sitting on couches doing absolutely nothing. Not the ones who are like Gideon, who at one point were like the primary like provider, or even though they're not working right now, they're still doing something. You have some men who not only won't work, they won't even watch the kids while their girls at work. They won't even clean the house while their girls at work.
Say it.
You have some women working 60 hours a week that have a man at home that they cannot even call to ask him to wash the dishes when she gets home.
Yep.
No, that's weakness right there.
Okay, but you have
I'll cook, but I hate washing dishes.
That.
Oh yes.
You have that.
Yeah, and you know what the sad thing about it is? The sad thing about it is, how many of them brothers have to actually just drop one tablet of Cascade into a dishwasher? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, they won't even do that. I mean, like, I know a girl personally. She was with a guy, and like I said, like, this guy is like, you know, he's like early 30s. He was living in her house. He was driving her car, picking her up from work in her car late.
Baby boy.
She would come home. Hey, can you wash the dishes?
Yeah.
Don't talk to me like that. I'm the man of this house. No, I'm sorry. No, it does not work that way. No, you would have to go.
Now on that note though, Nikki, I will say this. Guess what? If you're a woman that allows that to consistently happen to you, you know what? I'm sorry to put my foot into the blood like this, but guess what? You're just as responsible as that guy. Because at some point,
now we were talking about though. Now
at some point,
but listen. So now she has a baby, right? She has a baby with this guy who doesn't work, doesn't contribute anything. Now when she kicks him out because he's tired of it, and she has to go down and apply for government housing and food stamps for a little while to get herself together, y'all call her a sellout and say that she kicked out her black man for a government check. That's what happens.
No, see, I wouldn't call her.
That's what you just said. Women kicked out their black men for a government check. We abandoned y'all in the struggle.
But I was speaking in general. Now, if I was speaking in general. Now, if I know a brother that's like that, and I know he pathetic, guess what? Anybody that knows me, they'll tell you. This is what they'll tell you about Mike more than anything. I don't support. I don't hang out with. I don't show no love to. And I will never, ever respect a man that does not take care of his kids. Mm-hmm. I don't respect a man that will be friends with his kid. I don't respect the man that if he's sitting up in Outback tonight eating steak and he don't know if his son got a tuna sandwich, what respect should I have for you, brother? You deserve no respect. I don't give that.
It's a lot of dudes.
I said the same thing. Y'all could be in misandrous, but okay. I mean, I agree with you though.
Bush is a lot of dudes who walk away from their kids, though. It's a lot of them.
That's a lot.
I don't smoke it all. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
See, I agree with that because I feel like as a man, you knew you made that baby.
That's right.
You know you got to take care of that baby.
That's right.
That baby is a part of you from your loins, your flesh and blood. But if you can walk away from that child, you will never be loyal to me or anybody else, so I can never be your friend.
Anything. Exactly.
People say I'm looking too deep into it, but think about it. If you turn your back on your own flesh and blood,
I gotta tell you
You
a story.
wouldn't turn your back
You're
on.
I got
nothing.
to tell y'all about these people running around out here. I worked with a guy. He was so pretty, y'all. Nikki, you should have seen him. Green eyes, the biggest, beautiful smile. He's light skinned. He was so beautiful. Oh my God. He was beautiful. And he didn't mind telling me he had 11 kids, girl. 11 kids. I had to, I did one of your numbers like, oh. But and I said, well, you paying child support, right? You see, because he was so pretty. Just light skin and green eyes, a pretty sight. He said, no. I said, what you mean you ain't paying child support for them 11 kids? He said, I said, you must got some good old stuff. And we laughed or whatever. And it's a funny thing. One day he came in to work, girl. He came in, he was taking all overtime. Nobody could get it because he was getting all overtime. Then one day he had on a uniform for his new job. Oh, he got a second job.
You got it.
Then he started selling bootleg CDs. We like, what's up with that? You selling bootleg DVDs? Ain't you getting enough money from this job? Couldn't find out, girl. Child support started hitting his check finally after all these years. Girl, he broke down and told a coworker that his check was $7.
And then people want to feel bad for him. Like, nah, you got 11 kids, homie. I don't feel bad for you at all.
Hell no. Hell no.
And I ain't mad. His check should have been zero.
That fool, him and his girlfriend, and she looked like the Elephant Man. Lord bless her heart anyway. They had to take him and the little baby. The little girl looked just like him, light skinned with the little pretty green eyes, and she was so cute. They had to leave. Last I heard, they was living in the worst area of Detroit ever. Oh, that's the worst area. They rent had to be like $300.
Okay, so he's got 11 kids, and she decides to get with him. And let me guess, I'm pretty much reassuring myself that out of those 11 kids, he probably had what, 7, 8 mamas.
I'll give him that. I think he had like 2. I think it was like 2, 3 here, 3 there, type of deal. He only had a couple baby mom, but the thing to remember was these women were already impoverished. You know, child support don't come in unless a woman complains or need help from the system. If this woman is financially secure, she don't need child support. And they weren't financially secure. They needed help. So it took them a while. It took a long time. I think his oldest son was already like 20 because he ended up getting killed or something. But it took years for child support to kick in. Years.
See, that's the thing about it. At 16 years old, trust me, at 16 years old, I already knew I wanted to top out at 2 kids. I knew it. It was just in my mind, listen, I'm going to top out at 2 unless I know I'm going to have a woman in my life that'll be willing to go through everything in the world for me. Now, if she says she want a 3rd one or a 4th one, guess what? You best believe, baby, you locked into this contract. We ain't going nowhere to the last one. To the last one, I got the last coin they can get out of this house. Now, if you want to leave when all of them 21 and they talking about mom and dad, I need this and that, then guess what? Let me get my equity out the home. You get your equity, you do your thing, I do mine.
But see, these people I mentioned, they don't think like that. They weren't planning. In fact, the guy, when he told me about his kids, he bragged that his brother had 12, and it runs in their family. And
oh my gosh,
it's called vasectomy. Get you one. That's all you gotta do. Get a vasectomy.
Okay. Oh God. You say
I would
what?
do that if I have another child. I'm getting a vasectomy because I ain't trying to be pulling out. I'm trying to shoot that club up.
Gideon said his pull-out game is weak,
look,
but it's okay.
Look, I just believe like this right here. If I'm sitting down tonight eating a tuna fish sandwich, my son or my daughter need to be there with me. If I'm sitting down eating steak and lobster, my son or my daughter need to be there eating with me, or they need to be eating equivalents, or at least be able to eat equivalent.
It's a lot of dudes. It's a lot of dudes, Mr. Bush. They not, and you too, Gideon. They're not like you. They plant the seed and they walk away, and they leave the sun, the sunshine, and Mother Nature to take care of their kids and feed them. You know, they're not trying to nurture them, call them, visit them, supply any of their needs. They just move on like they never existed. There was a girl here in Michigan. I don't know if you heard about the girl that killed her kids and stuck them in the freezer for like 2 or 3 years, I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I heard about that.
the younger one.
Yes, the kids. She killed 2 of the kids and stuck them in the freezer, and the neighborhood she lived in was already questionable. But see, the thing is, the girl, she was evil. She let the devil take over. The young lady, the mother, had problems. She had been molested. She said she didn't believe in God anymore. You got to be careful. The God will come in. God will come. The devil will come in and tap dance on your brain and wreak havoc. And next
That's
thing
right.
you know, exactly. Next thing you know, Mike, you in hell burning, and all because you let the devil win. You must try and do right and be a God fearing human being as much as possible. But
Yeah, and you.
hmm?
No, I was just saying, yeah, you're right, and you have to let the process take.
Yeah, she
You have to let the
became
process
very
take
angry
place.
over the years. Her childhood wasn't great. It was terrible. She had been molested, and she had a few kids, maybe three or four. I can't remember. But she had the kids, and what it was the fathers wasn't around, and that I think that made her very angry and very bitter. And she ended up killing 2 of the kids and sticking them in them freezers. There's 4 kids. The other 2 kids were forced to walk around the deep freezer with their brother and sister dead inside every
Oh
day,
my
all
God.
day. And this went on for years. And the neighbors, well, you gotta love them. See, people always talk about it's supposed to be about the kids, but it's never about the kids because the neighbors seen that those 2 children were missing and nobody said anything. I think they asked them and they said the kids were out of town visiting relatives or some crap they told them. But nobody said anything. Me personally, I'm calling CPS to investigate. And then the fathers hadn't heard from the kids in 3 years, and you gotta love his relatives. The relatives, oh, she wouldn't let him see the kids, but a real man would have.
That's always that is what they always say. Like always. Always.
Girl, it was terrible. They sat up there, supported the bullshit. They knew that that man did not try and make a real effort to be in his kid's life, and the mother was mad and crazy. The woman was crazy. She sat up there and killed the kids and dumped them in the freezer. And the lie she told was ridiculous. She said that the little boy and little girl raped the other one.
Yeah.
That's the lie she keeps telling. That's ridiculous.
No,
Wow.
I mean, so my son, he'll
Hey
be 4 in
guys,
September.
I'm gonna have to step away from this. I'm here with my little brother. He's celebrating. Believe it or not, he's only 44. He's celebrating 20 years of marriage. So
Aww.
yeah. Hey, Meathead, come here. Come here. As y'all can see, he look just as good as I do. Look at him. Who is that? He just
Yeah.
he just from the California.
Congratulations.
He's so lit up he don't know, but these. Girl, ain't got no bro. He's so lit up.
Wait, who ain't got no bra?
Go, boy.
I didn't hear that.
No, we
Gideon
talking,
been ignoring us.
this is a circle of friend of mine. We talk about politics. So. Yeah, I'm politicking too. Look, he lit up. Go, look, go that way. Go that way. Go away, yeah. Go that way.
I love y'all little country accent. I love
This
it.
boy, I love this boy. He crazy. I'm telling you. Look, I am the more conservative one. That is the straight liberal right there. But listen, no, you ain't finna say that. You finna go somewhere lay down. But anyway, guys, y'all have a good one. I'm gonna hit y'all back, okay?
Yeah, sure. Come again.
I just told him y'all been together 20 years. So. Man, I got down 20 years. How you doing, man? I am good, bro. I'm trying to train everybody. Y'all, I'll talk to y'all a little later. Okay?
All right, Mike. See you again.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I was saying, I mean, like my son, he'll be 4 in September. Like since the day I got pregnant, like his dad has brought like 2 boxes of diapers and given me $15 one time and $20 another time.
Wow.
he hasn't seen my son, and I want to say maybe like 8 months. I don't think it's been a full year yet. But if it hasn't been a full year, then it will be a year in probably like November.
Wow.
But I mean, he sleeps fine every night, not knowing if his kid ate or not knowing where his kid is, not knowing where his kid lives.
But that's what they do though, Nikki, and it's terrible.
Oh, yeah,
It's terrible and a shame. And
Mhm.
that's why I don't feel bad when child support finally getting their ass. It's fine by me because all you gotta do is spend a little time with your child. Maybe throw a can of formula here and there. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of food, a little bit of time. And maybe people won't run to a friend of the court. Maybe they'll give you a chance because you're trying.
Yeah, but I mean, like, now, like, even him, he will be quick to tell people she doesn't let me see my son.
Mm-hmm.
That is what he'll tell people.
Lie. Oh, that's
Mind
a lie.
you,
I don't even know what
until my son was 2, I worked from home and went to school at home, and like went to school online. So like, I was literally always home, and I was like, when you want to come by, let me know. You have my number, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna sit here and beg you to be in his life, but you have a way to contact me. I'm home 6 or 7 days a week. But that is like the knee-jerk reaction. They would rather say she doesn't let me see my kids than I choose not to see my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Detroit situation with my girl, her name was Michelle Blair. If you want to fact find and check it out later, but Michelle Blair, I think she snapped, and like I said, that she let the devil win, and he tap danced on her mental, and 2 kids had to die. 2 kids had to die because their father didn't care enough to check in on them, and people, just because the father come around, that don't mean something like that can happen. Let me tell you something. If a man is insisting on seeing his child, there is no way a woman would think twice about sitting up there killing them and sticking their bodies in a deep freezer for 3 years at a time.
Mm-hmm.
If that man was coming around and trying to, getting court orders, coming around, making phone calls, knocking on that woman's door, she would have thought twice about killing those kids.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
She snapped. She
and
snapped.
that happens a lot. I mean, you have women who are not getting any support. A lot of them, like, not in that case since their kids were older, but like, you have women who like have no help with this baby. A lot of times they get postpartum depression, and the baby ends up getting hurt, shaking baby syndrome, something along those lines. And everyone wants to look at her like, oh, she's a horrible person. But I'm like, actually offering to help these like moms who have no type of support. Most of y'all aren't. So it's like, you can see how sometimes this stuff does happen. I mean, there was one, I think that like she had just started dating a guy, and she had to go to work, and it was like, if you don't come to work, we're gonna fire you. So she had like a boyfriend watch the baby. Boyfriend ended up like killing the baby. And everyone's like, oh, like she's horrible, this, that. And then I'm like, well, where was the baby's father? Like how come she wasn't able to call him and ask him to come watch the kid for a little while? I don't know. Always an issue. But it's
a shame. Why is it so dark in there? You don't have the lights on?
Oh, I had to move because I was in my son's room because he had like the most windows in his room. And then he woke up from his nap, so I just left.
I said she must be saving some serious money on her electric bill.
I didn't realize it got that dark.
Some people be like that. They be all dark and stuff.
All right. So last topic, since we haven't gotten here yet. Mr. Umar Johnson. In general, I want to know in general what everybody thinks about him, as well as
let me get my microphone ready.
How they feel about his being ambushed, so to speak. So, Ms. Greer, let you go ahead first.
I don't know much about Dr. Umar Johnson. In fact, the only reason I heard about him was when he made the appearance on Roland Martin's show. It was around the same time that Blac Chyna and Rob Kardashian got into their little fight. And like most of the world, I was, concentrating on them. Wow, Black China and Rob Kardashian. I don't know nothing about them because, like I said, these people they don't benefit my life, so I don't care. But I said, well, let me check into Rob Kardashian and Black China. But then I seen that it was a little ruckus with Dr. Umar on Roland Martin. So I said, well, gee, let me see what happened. And I watched the clip. I like what Dr. Umar Johnson was saying. I don't have a whole lot of knowledge of what he's about. I heard that he collected a whole lot of money. $700,000 supposed to be built, used to be built to build schools for children. From my understanding, it's been 4 years. He made the promise of building a school 4 years ago. It never came to pass, which
and
is
no
really
steps taken towards that school.
Exactly.
Can we stop calling him doctor though? Like
that's why I said Mister.
We don't stop
no
calling
evidence.
him doctor. I'm about to no. I refuse.
Well, hey, we can call Dr. Dre a doctor. We can call him.
Exactly. That's my thing. If you can call transgender man, woman, whatever they want to hear, why you can't let that man be a doctor?
That's a good point.
I'm not even going there with y'all today. I'm not at
I'm
all.
just saying, let him be a doctor.
Not today.
But I like what he was talking about. I like what he was talking about.
This man was not ambushed. They asked the same questions everyone has been asking for the last 5 years.
That's right.
Questioning about where he got his doctorate. Questions about what happened to the money. They were nice and didn't bring up the strippers and the hookers and him not
taking care of his kids. The strippers and stuff. I'm sweating.
Yeah, the stripper controversy.
Yes. Yes, they were nice and didn't bring that up. They were not. Now, honestly,
I would have.
I would have brought that.
Honestly, they're saying that like him saying that this was like an ambush. It really wasn't. Like, how about we get some of your baby mamas on here so they can talk about how you don't take care of your kids? This they could have made it an ambush if they wanted to, but it really.
I think it was. I think that there's no thing. When celebrities and people of stature go on these shows, they make these people agree to talk about specific issues.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when you see these people like Alicia Keys went on Wendy Williams, she made Wendy Williams agree not to ask about her real relationship with Swiss Beats and how she ended up with him. And I think that's what happened with Dr. Umar. He made them to agree not to ask him about those strippers because he probably, probably too much.
But the thing is, it wasn't an ambush. Like these questions have been being asked for years now about him. People have been asking him where he got his doctorate. People have been asking him to show proof of his doctorate for like the last 5 years. People have been asking him about the funds for this school. You cannot collect 1/3 of like what was it, like $1/3 of $1 million or $1/3 of $1 billion?
Almost $1 million. What, $750,000? I heard 700.
Yeah, he collected over 700,000.
Yeah,
and 100,000 of that is frozen by the feds.
Now, my thing is like, according to like the IRS, if you are collecting money as a nonprofit organization, there are forms that need to be filled out so that you can collect that money tax exempt.
Exactly.
In 2015, he said he filled out those forms. There's no proof of these forms. There is no proof of any nonprofit organization in his name whatsoever.
He's gonna wind up in prison, Nikki.
I know. People have been asking him to show where the money's coming, where the money's going. You have people who have donated thousands of dollars to this man, and they went over where their money's going. But Black people are quick to say, "Oh, y'all are just being hard on him because he's a Black man." No, every nonprofit organization, every charity, you can look up and see where their money's going.
Mm-hmm.
March of Dimes, you can look up and see how much their CEO makes. You can see how much their employee.
You forgot to you're dealing with Negroes.
I know, but I'm saying like they're always trying to defend this man. Like, no, like nonprofit organization, if you're asking for money,
You're
people
dealing
have
with
a
Negroes. They gonna take your money and throw you a bunch of excuses.
yeah, and that's what happened. Like there is no reason why you've gotten this much money so far, and you have no actual like business plan to get this
If
school started.
people are serious about cracking down on Dr. Umar and getting the school built and making him fulfill the promises he made, or making him pay for the lies. That's another way to look at it. You donated money, you want satisfaction. They need to press the issue, but nobody's pressing the issue.
Well, that didn't like PayPal like freeze his account.
$100,000
so.
worth of it.
Yeah, that's why they did that, because he wasn't able to show proof. So those people got their money back. But I mean, like, but the thing is, now he was mad about that, and his excuse about that was like, well, y'all were like all too lazy to go to the post office and buy a stamp and mail me a check.
Mhm.
That's why PayPal took my money. No, that is not why you were doing illegal things with the money.
The thing is with Mr. Umar, Mr. Jermaine Shoemake, is there are two groups of people that are toxic, and there's one group that I fall into. First group is people who eat up everything he says, believes it all. They prove that the best place to hide a lie is between two truths. You throw enough truth up in there, and they know that this one thing is true. Well, you may regurgitate something that has already been previously stated, and you can slip your own bullshit, your own agenda into it, and it'll just fly with a certain crowd. They will say, he was ambushed, he was mad, they trying to take a black man down. They want to get all upset with people for cross-examining him. Then there's the other group.
But see, he should not be cross-examined because it was an interview, Gideon. It was an interview.
But that's the type of show that this guy has.
Period.
You get to be
Roland cross-examines everybody.
Cross-examine when you are collecting.
He's wrong. He's wrong. That's a television interview. That is not a criminal deposition.
He does that everything.
He does it to all his shows, and he's not wrong.
And that is why people are demonizing him, because he don't have that right to stand up there to invite people on an interview.
Then don't go on the show.
That's what the interview is. They question you about things. They ask the question.
Watch his show. That's how he is with every guest.
Yes,
I'm glad I never have watched it. So if he's sitting up there doing interviews like that, then I don't need to watch it, because it's crap.
Is it if you are legitimate with your shit,
you wouldn't have been bothered.
Exactly. Now,
second
group. Hold on.
If he would have stuck, if Martin would have stuck with the money issue, the whole entire money issue, then I wouldn't have a problem. But then they was sitting up there butting heads about black marriages and civil rights leaders being married to black women, and
he contradicted himself.
Roland Martin did, because a black activist have no right marrying outside their race, period. Because he told the truth. Black activism means black causes, black love, black marriage. You don't have no right to tell people about how to treat black people if you don't believe in your own.
And I respect that viewpoint. Now, that second group about Dr. Umar Johnson is just as toxic as the first group. Is the people who will dismiss the truth, the good things he says. They would just dismiss them totally because they can pick out a few lies. If somebody tells 5 good things, but then they slip 2 lies in there, now you got 7 things total. You found those 2 lies. Now you're trying to make a case that everything is a lie. I'm sorry, but the truth is somewhere in between. We have to learn how to discern from this bullshit, that bullshit, and find that what it is right there. Realize that he is a human being. He is flawed. He will say some fuck shit.
Yeah.
And he'll also make some good
saying
points.
some fuck shit and being a scam artist.
That's true as well. That's true as well.
We all come short of the glory. Nobody's
no, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this man charging $100 a ticket for a speaking engagement. So
most ministers, that's how most of those people. That's why.
So what I'm saying is like that whole like $70,000. That's not even including the money that he makes from speaking arrangements. That's not including the money that he made from his boys' summer camp.
That's another thing. That's how he make his living, and if that's how he makes his living,
that's fine. But don't ask for donations to build a school, and not only And not only is there no school, there's no business plan for a school. There's no model of a school. We
And
don't
he's
even
living
know
off
that
that
you're able
interest.
to legally open and operate a school.
And
It's
he's
a
living
severe-
off that interest.
Yep, it's a severe possibility he could be prosecuted for that. You know,
He's a scam artist. That's what he is. Does he make some valid points? Yes. Are the majority of his points complete BS? I feel like yes. He does
Now-
make some good points.
Another thing with him is what is to touch on what we mentioned earlier. He is divisive.
Very.
He is
Everything
another one of those
black
that
women
wants
fall.
to exclude gay people. They want to exclude people who marry to other people. I'm sorry, but when we need unity right now, the last thing we need to be doing is trying to exclude anybody.
Exactly.
We need all the help we can get.
Mm-hmm. You can't tell all black people that we all need to unify and then talk shit about gay black people and then talk shit about black
the
women.
thing is, this
You
is the
can't do
thing.
that.
You have people like the ones who are on the panel. You know, they sitting up there. They're not really supporting the black community at all. These people are picking up the crumbs that the white folks throw down to him. He was just right. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing nothing in the black community. They're not helping the average black person.
Neither is Umar.
You mean Jermaine?
Neither is Jermaine.
Jermaine.
But none of us is though. Nobody doing nothing.
But we're not
nobody.
pretending to be this major activist that's trying to do everything.
I'm not walking around calling myself the Pan-African princess.
Yeah.
But it's coming. No, I'm kidding.
Stop it.
The prince of Pan-Africanism.
That's what he calls himself. The Prince
Yes,
of Pan-African.
he says it all the time. I'm the prince, and you people.
What you have with Dr. Umar is
Call
he
him
has an
Dr. Again. I'm
audience.
taking the mic off.
He has an audience. He has a following. He's almost the same.
So is
as
Yana.
he's almost the same as what they call it, like a snake oil salesman. He's almost the same as a snake oil salesman. He's coming with nothing but conversation, and you have to be able. People have to be able to see that. They have to see that this man is not coming with nothing but game, scam, and conversation. You know, I've never donated anything to Umar. I never heard of Umar until the Roland Martin show. Mm-hmm. And the chances of me giving him any funds is slim to none.
I'm not giving him any.
None. Shit, I ain't got nothing. And even if I did, I wouldn't give it to him because who is he? You know, but
he's a Prince of Pan-Africanism. That's who he is.
Or so he say, and he also says he's a doctorate. A doctor.
He also says that he's a descendant of Frederick Douglass.
And the family said he is not.
Oh yeah, no, the family was like, we don't know him. Mm-hmm. He said, I am a direct descendant of Frederick Douglass. He said like 100 times.
Then he gets on the show and said, I did not say I was a direct descendant of Frederick Douglass. Yeah, what I said was, I am of. He said he was related to Frederick Douglass.
Like, he
said what I said was that I was of his lineage. If your great grandfather is like somebody's second or third cousin, you are not of that person's lineage. That's not how that works. It's not what a lineage means. Lineage means they are.
Two things need to happen. Two things need to happen. He needs to make good on that school. Or the followers need to prosecute him or file charges or a criminal complaint against this guy.
But they believe in him, though, so they're not going to do that.
You say what?
They believe in him, though, so they're not going to do that.
Oh, I would. Like I said, y'all know me. I don't get down like that. If you don't play me out my cash, it's going to go down.
They don't feel play. They feel like this man's really going to build a school that he hasn't even filled out the documents to have a nonprofit organization for.
He needs to make good on the school, or he's gonna go to jail. You can't sit up there and cheat people out of $750,000 and think you can just walk around like it's all good, you know?
I mean, honestly, for me, Umar, Yada, Brother Polite, they all fall into the same category.
Yeah,
all of them are in the same boat. They're on the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
A boat that needs to be pushed into the middle of the ocean and sink. But that's it. Like, it's just crazy at this point.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember, like, a few months ago when he got into it with like another like educator. Do you remember that? I know that you said that you haven't heard of him, but have you Gideon?
I haven't heard that one.
You didn't see it? This man made like a 5-minute long rant yelling at this man. Like, I'm the prince of Pan-Africanism. I get like this much money from my show.
Oh, are you talking about the little short guy that he was going off for?
Yes.
I saw that.
Hey, he was like,
Who is it? Who is it?
I'm gonna call him right now.
And then the phone rang while he was on it.
This is my address. Pull up. And then his phone rang.
While he was on it.
It doesn't happen. Well, did you just fake a phone call? You don't put the phone on silent before you say that, made that fake phone call?
You talking about you making videos in your basement, nigga.
He went so hard.
Oh wow!
I swear, like you saw the blood pressure rising in his face. Like, I swear that man popped at least like 1 or 2 blood vessels. Like, it is hilarious. Like, it was absolutely. He went off for a good like 5 or 10 minutes. He went off. He was like, "I'm the prince of this, nigga. You making videos? I'm doing shows, nigga. I challenge you to a debate. We can have a debate in your city. I'll come to you." It was honestly
because I know you can't afford to come to me. He was going in.
Yes, it was like, you can't afford to do it. This is how much money I raised, and it was just absolutely crazy.
It was the battle of the hoteps.
All right.
Well, it is now 9 o'clock. Oh, well, she already dipped out. She dipped out quick. But anyways, yeah, it's time to get on up out of here. Want to thank everybody for watching. Please come back and check us out next week. And remember, the last week, oh, well, I can't say remember, I haven't mentioned this yet, but the last week of the month is always going to be a freestyle, so you never know what we talk about. So
you never know. You gotta come watch and find out.
Yep. But next week we do have topics, and you're going to find out what those topics are probably by the middle of the week. So with that said, go ahead and give your outro.
I'm Nikki, and it was nice talking to y'all. Feel free to come back and watch us next week.
All right. And I am out of here. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe, and feel free to share the video. All right. Have a great one.